Welcome to Mastering X Software Engineering lecture series. From this episode, we are going to discuss about software development processes. We first define the term software process. Software process is a set of related activities, and these activities leads to the production of software system. As you know, there are many different types of software systems, but there is no universal software engineering method that is applicable to all of these systems. Consequently, there is no universally applicable software process. The process used in different companies depend on the type of software being developed, the requirement of the software, the customer, and the skills of the people writing the software. However, although there are many different software processes, they all must include, in some form, the four fundamental software engineering activities: software specification, software development, software validation, and software evolution. In the software specification activity, the functionality of the software and the constraints on its operation must be defined. In the software development activity, the software to meet the specification must be produced. In the software validation activity, the software must be validated to ensure that it does what the customer wants. In the software evolution activity, the software must evolve to meet changing customer needs. These activities are complex activities in themselves, and they include sub-activities such as requirement validation, architectural design, unit testing, and so on. Processes also include other activities such as software configuration management, project management, likewise production supporting activities. When we describe and discuss processes, we usually talk about the activities in these processes. For example, specifying the data model, specifying the process model, designing the user interface, and so on. And also mention the order of these activities. For example, we first prepare the unit test cases and then execute the unit testing. We can all relate to what people do to develop software. However, when describing processes, it is also important to describe who is involved, what is produced, and conditions that influence the sequence of activities. So, the activities of a process description must include products, roles, pre and post conditions. The products or the deliverables are the outcomes of a process activity. For example, the outcome of the activity of architectural design may be a model of the software architecture. The roles reflect the responsibilities of the people involved in the process. Few examples of roles are project manager, programmer, tester, configuration manager, likewise. Pre and post conditions are conditions that must hold before and after a process activity has been enacted or a product produced. For example, before architectural design begins, a precondition may be that the consumer has approved all requirements. After this activity is finished, a post-condition might be that the UML models describing the architecture have been reviewed. Software processes are complex, and like all intellectual and creative processes, it relies on the decisions and the judgment made by the people. As there is no universal process that is right for all kinds of software, most software companies have developed their own development processes. Processes have evolved to take advantage of the capabilities of the software developers in an organization and the characteristics of the system that are being developed. For safety critical systems, a very structured development process is required where detailed records are maintained. For business systems with rapidly changing requirements, a more flexible agile process is likely to be better. Professional software development is a managed activity, so planning is an inherent part of all processes. Plan-driven processes are processes where all of the process activities are planned in advance and progress is measured against this plan. In agile processes, planning is incremental and continual as the software is developed. It is therefore easier to change the process to reflect the changing customer or product requirements. Each approach is suitable for different types of software. Generally, for larger systems, you need to find a balance between plan-driven and agile processes. Although there is no universal software process, there is scope for process improvement in many organizations. Processes may include outdated techniques or may not take advantage of the best practice in industrial software engineering. Indeed, many organizations still do not take the advantage of software engineering methods in their software development. They can improve their process by introducing techniques such as UML modeling and test-driven development. And with that, we are going to wind up this episode. Thank you for watching and see you again from another episode.